'83 was when the song came out, and as part of the promotion for that song, I had to participate.
If you are more open to chocolate and vanilla than you say, do you have a preference between the two?
It depends how it's made. Like, really good vanilla is great, and really good chocolate is great, so it kind of depends. But between the two, I generally say chocolate, because I always, as a kid, I know this is not the case now, but as a kid, I always thought that vanilla was like plain ice cream. It's like clear. Right. It's like ice cream without any flavor. It's like, why would anybody order vanilla? It's like no flavor.
Do you have a cup or cone preference?
I generally go cone. With a sugar cone. Because it's extra. With a cup, you can't eat the cup. Right. But with a cone, you get a cone.
Right. I want to move on to grapefruit diet.
Fudge and Twinkies and deviled ham. Who's real flabby? Yes, I am. Every picture of me's gotta be an aerial view. Now my doctor tells me there's just one thing left to do. Grapefruit diet. Throw out the pizza and beer. Grapefruit diet.
Do you like grapefruit? Do you eat it?
I do. I eat it particularly. I usually only eat it when I'm on a diet, because when I'm trying to lose weight, I'll eat like half a red ruby grapefruit every morning for the entire length of the diet. And I like it, but it really kind of, in my brain it means like diet. So when I'm not on a diet, I generally don't eat it.
So was Grapefruit Diet one of the more autobiographical songs?
I think I read that song before I ever tried that as a dietary technique. But then I read a book saying, well, it wasn't the Grapefruit Diet book, but it was just saying that grapefruit was a great breakfast if you wanted to try to lose weight. So,
right.
And it seemed to work.
What's your grapefruit eating strategy? Do you use a spoon to scoop out the halfway?
I do. I actually have a grapefruit spoon somewhere, but I usually don't bother trying to find it. So it's just a matter of digging out each segment and eating segment by segment. And then when it's all done, I take the half grapefruit and I walk over the sink and I squeeze the rest into my mouth.
Interesting. That's an interesting move there. That's you don't squeeze it into a glass?
No.
Okay.
No. Then I have to wash the glass. That's the point of that.
What is a grapefruit spoon? What does it look like?
It's got a serrated edge. It's like a small, thin spoon that's got kind of a jagged edge on one side, so it helps you cut out the sections better.
I noticed that a lot of your songs about food, which I understand are not all autobiographical, but they're written from the point of view of someone who eats a lot of very decadent, very unhealthy food. And I'm sure that there's obviously comedic potential in that, so I understand that. But I wonder if, because you're very thoughtful about what you eat, I wonder if you ever use your music to pig out vicariously.
I never really thought of that way. When I wrote Grapefruit Diet, that was sort of my sequel to Fat in a way, because it's like after he becomes morbidly obese, well, I better drop a few pounds. Right. So I got to include whatever fat jokes I didn't get the first time around.
The outtakes.
Right.
Lasagna.
La 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 lasagna. You want the summer lasagna, magnifico, or maybe spaghetti.
I think that you may have unwittingly agreed with my opinion about lasagna when you wrote that song, because a lot of lyrics are sort of like, you should eat my lasagna, or if you don't like that, try these other foods. I think that lasagna is a severely overrated food. I think that it's a ton of work to make it. Separating those strips is a giant pain in the butt.
For the longest time, my road manager had a thing, and the writer saying that no lasagna backstage.
Really?
Because I didn't know this, but apparently lasagna is very cheap to make. Apparently, so a lot of promoters are like, I'll give them lasagna, and then you wind up eating lasagna 5 times a week. So I like lasagna, but that was off the writer for a long time.
Okay, but so you don't quite share my disdain for it.
For lasagna, I like it okay. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's overrated, but I think it's rated just fine.
I kind of feel like, okay, someone's going to make you lasagna, and their time wouldn't be better spent doing something else for the world.
Like paint my house.
Right, exactly. And give me what I think is basically the same thing, which is baked ziti.
Okay, there you go.
It's the same thing, except it doesn't require the fine detail of the layering of the ingredients, which is so time-consuming and tedious.
Right, so make me some baked ziti and give me a back rub.
Exactly.
There you go.
Now, which would you rather have, Al? Baked ziti and a back rub, or lasagna?
Well, I'd rather somebody give me a back rub using the baked ziti. That'd feel pretty good.
Would you rather have a back rub with baked ziti or lasagna?
Oh. That's a tough one. That's really tough. I might go with the lasagna.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I guess for a back rub that might be better. 'Cause you can kind of drape the long strands of
Yes,
pasta over
yeah,
your
yeah.
back. It's sort of almost like a massage towel of sorts.
That's what I was
the ziti
visualizing.
would all fall off.
Right.
It's not good massage food. I think that's a great point. Hey, friends, before we continue with Weird Al, I want to tell you about one other awesome offer. I'm giving away free audiobooks, including free audiobooks written and narrated by Weird Al himself. Go sign up for a free trial of Audible service. Audible is audiobooks and all kinds of spoken word content, over 100,000 titles to choose from. Any one of them is yours to keep when you sign up for a free trial at audiblepodcast.com/sporkful. They have Al's first children's book, When I Grow Up, narrated by Al. You can get that one. There's also an audiobook here, which I actually want to check out. It's called Care to Make Love in That Gross Little Space Between Cars, A Believer Book of Advice. And it's narrated by Patton Oswalt, Fred Willard, Bob Saget, Weird Al, and a bunch of other really awesome people. You can get that book for free, or you can get any one of 100,000 other books for free. So go get that free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/sporkful. Again, that's audiblepodcast.com/sporkful. The Rye or the Kaiser?
Try the Rye or the Kaiser, they're on special tonight. If you want, you can have an appetizer. You might like our salami and the liver's alright. And they'd really go well with the Rye or the Kaiser.
Do you have a preference between the two? Which would you use in which situation?
Well, rice certainly. If you're doing any kind of patty melt situation, I'm a kind of a rye fan. I don't have anything against Kaiser, but I'm a rye fan from way back.
Okay, all right. My wife is a huge rye person, so we always have a lot of rye in our house. But we have a bit of a dispute. Maybe you can actually take sides in this, which I'm sure you're eager to do. I know that it's more convenient to get the bread sliced. Let's say you're getting rye bread fresh at a bakery. They get the machine, they'll slice it for you.
Right.
The slices are very thin. I love a rye bread unsliced so that you can slice the slices thicker than the machine can even do. You get them 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick, like a grilled cheese on thick cut rye bread.
Oh, that sounds good.
Because then you get different strata within the bread. You get a crispy exterior, you get a soft, fluffy interior. And the other nice thing about getting it unsliced is that you can have different thickness of slices for different situations. So let's say you want one sandwich, you feel like having it be extra thick or thinner,
Right.
You can adjust that on a per sandwich basis.
Well, I can understand that, but they say it's the best thing since sliced bread for a reason. Because sliced bread is awesome.
I don't agree. I think it's overrated. I think that the worst thing since sliced bread could be sliced bread.
That might be true as well. No, I don't know. I mean, well, obviously, if you're looking for an extra large slice of rye bread, a sliced bread wouldn't be your option. But I'd say in like 87% of the cases, sliced bread works just fine for me.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'll respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know how respectful you're being right now, actually.
I guess I can't disagree with what works best for you because you know that better than I do. But I would encourage people to get bread unsliced. The other thing is that when you get it unsliced, it stays fresh for longer. I'll put the whole loaf in the freezer, take it out. You can barely let it defrost a tiny bit. Saw off a frozen slice, then let that defrost, and it will because you're exposing less of the bread
That
to air.
sounds like a lot of work. I think you get it sliced and you eat it very quickly.
In one of your more recent songs, Whatever You Like, you name check a lot of cheap foods, among other cheap goods.
Tater tots, cold duck on ice, and we can clip coupons all night. And baby, you can have whatever you like. I said you can have whatever you like.
What are some of your guilty pleasures, food guilty pleasures?
Oh, I love tater tots. Those are amazing. I've always loved those. I never went through my ramen stage in college so much. I mean, it's okay, but not one of my faves. You know what I love is like the cheap macaroni and cheese.
Do you add anything to it or do anything to it different from the box instructions?
I'm a rule follower, so I pretty much follow the box instructions. I'm one of these kind of cooks that, it's all got to be scientific. Like, I'm not like, oh, put a little of this and a little of that. And well, exactly how many grains of salt? Exactly. Yeah.
What happened to questioning authority, Al?
Well, I go the different way in the kitchen.
So it's okay to upend society's cruel conventions, except in the kitchen.
That's exactly right.
All right, now we're getting into the big guns here. Eat it.
Don't you tell me you're full, just eat it. Eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried, just eat it.
Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if boiled or fried. I have to take issue with that lyric. I think it does matter.
If the pie is fried?
Well, I mean, fried pie. You must have you had fried pie?
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's so good.
Really?
I mean,
well, anything fried on a stick.
Right, exactly. You know, and boiled pie is not going to be very good. So that one is an easy one. I mean, boiled chicken versus fried chicken also.
Well, I think the protagonist in this song is just saying, like, I don't care if it's boiled or fried. It is your obligation to eat this,
right.
whether it tastes good or not.
But in that lyric, do boiled and fried apply both to the chicken and the pie?
It's whatever you want it to be. I left that vague on purpose so you can put your own meaning onto it.
Okay. Fat.
Your butt is wide, well mine is too. Just watch your mouth, or I'll sit on you. The word is out, better treat me right. 'Cause I'm the king of cellulite. Ham on.
In fat,
Ham on.
ham on whole wheat, all right. In the fat video, when you sing that lyric, you sort of start to take a bite out of a ham sandwich, and then there's a cut, and then you kind of toss it. You don't really see you taking a bite. I believe that video was shot before you became a vegetarian.
Uh-huh.
Was it a real ham sandwich, and did you take a bite of it?
That's an excellent question. I honestly don't remember. I'm sure I took a bite of it. Yeah, I mean, I have to method act. And it very well could have been a ham on whole wheat. Let's say that it was.
Okay, all right, we'll go with that.
All right.
But in theory, at that point in your life, you would
I could have feasibly been actually eating a ham on whole wheat.
Well, Weird Al Yankovic, the new children's book is My New Teacher and Me. It comes out June 25th. It's available for pre-order right now. I will link to it at sporkful.com. Al is also on tour until early August. Find his tour dates and more at weirdal.com. Al, I've been a huge fan of your music for so long. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Joe, it's Dan Pashman from the Sporkful. How you doing?
Pretty good, buddy. How's it going?
Good. Now, at the start of this show, listeners heard our last conversation, which actually was recorded about 3 months ago. Now, here we are on the present day, and I'm calling to check up on you. How are you doing with the onions?
Actually, just great. I had the meatloaf again last night, and we tried soaking the onions, and it worked great. It was so much better. I had seconds, and it was great.
So soaking the onions in the cold water really helped?
Yeah, it took the nasty kind of skunky onion taste out of it.
All right, great. Have you done any other experiments?
Yeah, actually, a couple weeks ago, my mom said she was making chicken on the grill, and they usually have caramelized onions with that. And I said, oh, great, this is just what Dan wanted me to do. She made these great chicken breasts, smothered them with this cheese sauce and bacon, grilled. It was so good. And half of my chicken breast, I put the caramelized onions on it, and it was great. It was completely fantastic, and I ate it leftover again a couple nights later.
Wow, so this is a big breakthrough here. You a few months ago, Joe, you were worried about living a life alone, no wife, no onions, no nothing, and now you're well on your way.
Yeah, it's been a huge help.
And what does your mom have to say about all this?
She's actually been treating it kind of like a joke. She thought it was pretty funny that I had to call into a radio station to talk about onions, but She's been helping out a lot, actually. She's kind of been enjoying it. She's slipping it into food that we usually don't have it in. She made mashed potatoes a few weeks ago, and halfway through I said, "You put onions in this, didn't you?" And she said, "Yeah." She was sneaking onions into the mashed potatoes.
Well, Joe, I'm so glad to hear that you're on the path to onion righteousness. Keep up the good work out there in Idaho.
All right. Hey, and I just listened to your episode that you did with Ian and Mike from How to Do Everything.
Right.
That was pretty awesome. They're like my second favorite podcast. So,
do I need to ask what your first is?
Definitely you.
Well,
I definitely fall on your side of the sandwich controversy. I think they're going way too far with that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I will make sure that Ian and Mike hear that you said that. Joe, thanks so much for your call. Take care.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All right, friends, that just about does it for this show. Remember that you, too, can be a caller on the Sporkful if you have an innovation, a rant, a problem, an issue for me to resolve, a dispute with a loved one. Give me a ring at 908-9-SPORK-9. You can also drop me a line in the old